Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and this is set number 71839, Arin's Spinjitzu Battle Mech from the Summer 2025 LEGO Ninjago Wave. This set contains 213 pieces, 2 minifigures, and 1 baby dragon figure, and it will retail for $22.99 USD or €19.99 Euro. This set does not officially release until June 1st, 2024 in most parts of the world, or August 1st, 2024 in North America, but it was gifted to me early for review by the LEGO Group through the LEGO Ambassador Network, but of course all opinions expressed in this video are entirely my own. Before we get started, I'd like to quickly ask you guys to please leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm doing early reviews right now of most of the Summer 2025 Ninjago sets, and I have more early reviews of other LEGO themes coming very soon. So if you enjoy this kind of content and you want to see more, liking and subscribing does a ton to help support me in the channel, and also helps YouTube to show you my videos more often. So thank you all very much for the support, and now let's get into the video. So here is Arin's Spinjitzu Battle Mech, and to me personally, this was one of the most exciting sets of this wave. This is a new addition to the Elemental Power Mechs line that was introduced last year. There was 4 of them previously, Cole, Kai, Sora, and Lloyd, and I thought that was going to be it. We got those 4 sets and then no more for like 3 more waves. And I was a little disappointed by that, because I really love that collection. I made tons of custom ones myself, I have plenty of videos on the channel. But now, finally in this wave, we have 1 more, and I hope they go back and do the rest of the Ninja too, because now there's only a couple left. But yes, this is Arin's Spinjitzu Battle Mech. It's done in the same style as all the others, the same exact scale, about the same price, and it's able to mix and match parts with all the previous ones. In my opinion, these are like the perfect style of small mech. They're big enough that they can have a good amount of detail. It's not just building the same set over and over again, but also small enough and simple enough that they can be affordable for any type of collector, and easy to build for collectors of any age. So yes, I love these so much, and I'm glad we have a new one. So now let me move up a little bit closer so we can go through it all. Starting at the feet, they do something very cool. They use the SCCBS armor piece. That part is typically used for armor like on the joints, so having it placed vertically down here is a very different use case, but I think it looks good, especially with these angled plates on the side. Another very cool recolor in this set, I believe this is new, this is a top bracket piece in gold. I don't think I've seen either of the brackets in gold before, but that's very useful to get for any type of Ninjago mock. The range of motion on the feet is a little limited forward, but you don't really need to bend them forward too often. Back's the bigger thing, and there's a huge range of motion backwards. And then also a good bit side to side, so you can like splay the legs out and it still looks fine. Coming up to the legs, we start to see this mech's secondary color, which is black, and that's because this mech is entirely themed around the Dark Arin design. That's the outfit that Arin has had for all of Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 3, so they themed his mech around it too. It's got both the bright orange and the black. He's also got these big gold armor pieces, because that's a color that he generally uses. Nexonite shield pieces in gold too, which it's nice to get that part in that color. It's not new, but it's more uncommon. However, this mech also uses one more color that I didn't actually expect, but I love. He has transparent pink on him. Now, the reason why that's cool is because that's the color of Sora's elemental power. And that color was all over Sora's Elemental Power Mech set. In fact, pretty much every Sora vehicle we've had uses a little bit of trans pink. Unlike the other Elemental Power Mechs, this one technically isn't an Elemental Power Mech because Arin does not have an Elemental Power. So he can't control it using his Elemental Powers, so it looks like Sora infused it with her own instead. It makes sense too, because Sora created all of the other Elemental Power Mechs in the show, but since Arin's mech doesn't have like another element to take it over, Sora's element is still flowing throughout it, and I love that storytelling there. It adds a very nice splash of color to the build visually too. The waist is a fairly basic design, but you can see there's 2 more trans pink studs here. And then we come up to the cockpit where Arin's piloting the mech, and this is an all-new color for the Ninjago mech cockpit piece. I'm always so happy to see that one recolored too, because it's one of my favorite parts that Ninjago has introduced. I believe this is the only time it's been recolored this year, but I'm glad to see they are still recoloring it, and hopefully we get a few more in the next couple of years. But yeah, I much prefer this version of the piece to like the Marvel mech version of the piece. The bulkiness on the Ninjago one just looks so much nicer. This tile at the front is printed, and it's the same exact print that's on the 2024 mechs, so it's neat to see that that's consistent. And then yeah, as I showed you can open this up and Arin fits inside. Fairly basic design in there, very similar to a lot of the other mechs. He uses this more rounded cockpit design, which is the same as what the Sora mech uses, as opposed to what the Kai and Cole mech used, because those were both similar to each other but different from the Sora mech. Now, one thing I like about this mech, especially compared to some of the previous ones, is both of the arms are actually different, so it makes it a slightly more engaging build. This is to match the Arin minifigure from this wave, because his right arm is completely black to like show his evil side. So that's on his mech too. They expanded upon it a bit though, because it's specifically black fur. And at least the way I interpret that is when Arin's evil, he's following Lord Raz. Lord Raz is the main villain of Ninjago Dragons Rising, and he's a tiger, so he has black fur just like this. So the like dark side of Arin's mech has that black tiger fur. So this like really represents his time with Lord Raz. But of course that trans pink from Sora is still here. And then there is little wings coming out the back of his mech too. That's another thing that's very similar to the Sora mech, and another thing I love about this overall build is it seems like it was specifically designed to parallel the Sora mech. Again, from the trans pink, I assume in-universe she built this herself, so she designed it to look like her mech with the wings on the arms and the same style of cockpit. And obviously the build is very different, but the same way the Cole and Kai mechs have a lot of the same design elements, that's the case with this mech and the Sora mech. Anyway, this arm uses the SCCBS joint in black, which is a rarer color for that part. It was originally only in the Climber mech, but it's come in a few sets since then. And then the hand at the end uses the classic robot arm pieces for the fingers, rather than using the newer mech finger pieces like a lot of the other mechs did. The arms, as I mentioned, are not symmetrical, so the other arm's more bright orange, though there's still a little bit of black. That wing's still here in the exact same way. And there's just a lot less bulk on this side. There's less of that transparent pink energy, too. There's a few open studs in the wrist right here, which might look a little bit odd, but that actually has a purpose. It's for Baby Riyu, who also comes in the set. I know in-universe Baby Riyu is not a baby anymore, but they still want to put him in sets because I think people like to collect him. I know I do. But yeah, you can place him right there on the mech so he can fight alongside Arin. This mech also has two different weapons, one in each hand. The first one is this giant hook, which uses one of the big climbing hook pieces from last year. And I assume that's meant to reference his grappling hook, which is like his main accessory in the show. While on the other hand, he has a more traditional, just big golden sword. But you can see there's little transparent pink fire pieces coming out of it, showing that Sora's elemental power is still like emanating off of it. Here's a look at the back of the mech if you're curious, very similar to a lot of the other elemental power mechs. There are clips on the arms to hold on to Arin's accessories while he's in the mech. You can see I have a prismatic blade right here and then just nothing in the other one. And then in terms of posability, it's pretty amazing. It's on par with all the other elemental power mechs. Obviously no knee or elbow joints, which I know bothers a lot of people. But for a mech with no knee or elbow joints, the range of motion's pretty good. I already showed you the feet earlier, but let me show you the legs. Just a ton of room. Move this around however you want. So much motion there. Then there is a waist joint, just like all of last year's mechs, so that can spin all the way around. And then the arms are incredibly free too, right? You can just move those however you want. Because it is a smaller mech, it's not very heavy, so it's fairly easy to balance too. So there's tons of fun and wacky poses you can get it in. If you have any of the other elemental power mechs, this one is absolutely on par with them. I will admit, in terms of my ranking, this one's probably lower on my list in terms of elemental power mechs. I still think I like Kai's more, I like Cole's more, and I like Sora's more, but I think this one's probably better than Lloyd's. But as I said, I'm just happy to have a new one at all, and I think all 5 sets are great. Genuinely, I think it's such a good thing for Ninjago to have things like this on shelves. Here it is next to the Sora mech for reference, and you can see where these two are similar. Namely, the upper cockpit, which has that very rounded design, and the wings coming off the upper arms. But they're different enough that they still both feel very unique. And then, as I mentioned, yes, this build can mix and match parts with any of the previous mechs. I'm not going to show you them all here because there's a lot of combinations, but here's just an example of swapping one of the arms and both of the legs with the Sora mech. But if you have Kai's mech, Lloyd's mech, Cole's mech, or Sora's mech and you get this one, they are meant to like swap parts and rearrange with each other, which that gimmick is another thing that makes these sets feel so special to me. But anyway, I think that's all I have to say about the Arin mech, at least for now. I'll talk about it a little bit more at the end of this video. For now, let me show you the minifigures in the set, and then I'll give you my overall thoughts on everything at the end. Here are the first two figures in the set. We have Dark Arin and we have Baby Riyu. This version of Dark Arin is technically a new combination of parts, but none of the parts themselves are new. The torso and legs have been coming in sets since January, and then the complete version of this figure was released in March, but this is not the complete version of this figure. Instead, he comes with a half mask and his hairpiece, and his hairpiece is kinda nice to get. It's a LEGO City part that was then reintroduced in Ninjago, but in Ninjago specifically, it's pretty much only come in expensive sets. So I believe this is now the cheapest wide-released way to get Arin's hairpiece in a Ninjago set, but that's a lot of qualifiers there. There are other ways to get this, so it's not like a super exciting thing. I do wish it came with the complete version of the Dark Arin minifigure, because that one's a lot more rare. But this also technically makes Arin match the Sora minifigure in the Sora mech set, who also had a half mask, so I would assume that's probably what they were going for here. Anyway, the rest of the Dark Arin minifigure I've talked about before. I think it's really cool, the idea of one of the ninja turning to the dark side, but not because they were corrupted or something, just because they were tricked. So he does have that black scarf that I was talking about, and this really cool looking like spray-painted magenta dragon. Unfortunately, still has the happy face, though. And then back towards the print, there's the rest of the magenta dragon, and it spells out his name in jargon. Good minifigure, probably the worst version of this minifigure, but it's good to have some sort of Dark Arin in a cheap set, though I guess he was also in a $20 set in January. So yeah, I wish it was the complete figure. This is one of the weaker parts of this set. And then Baby Riyu, the baby dragon. What's to say about him that I've not already said? I'm surprised he's still coming in sets, but I guess people like him, which makes sense. I love him. I have so many of him at this point, but I do love him. And he's just so cute. It's just the perfect little single piece. I love his little spots, his green eye, and I like how from the top you can see that his tail's wagging a little bit. I wish he stayed a baby in the show for longer, but at the very least I guess he's still coming in sets. I thought the January set that he was in was going to be the last set to ever come with Baby Riyu, but nope, I guess I was wrong. We somehow have another Baby Riyu in summer 2025. And then the final minifigure in this set is a Spectral Dragonian, one of the generic villains of this wave. There's two different variations of just the generic Spectral Dragonian. One has this ghost tail piece, the other has a printed leg piece. And this is the cheapest set to get the one with the ghost tail. Unfortunately, they do not come with like the dragon tail and wings out the back, which can detach as a little flyer, so you do have to get that from other sets. But it is neat to have these guys at all in a cheap set, because I think they have an incredible design. They're probably one of my favorite generic villain armies in years. This like toothpaste blue color that they use is so awesome for a ghost, and I love all the transparent light blue, especially on the arms and how you can see like the red hands peeking through it. And then recoloring the armor pieces in dark blue works really well too, as well as the gunmetal gray helmets. Taking the armor piece off, there's a better look at the face print. They've got a slightly darker blue around the face with like these spectral effects on the side to show that they are ghosts. And then here's the alternate face and back torso print where there's like rifts sort of forming in their torso, and there's some like ghostly effect on the back of their head with the Forbidden 5 symbol on it. That's in place of the fire breath that they had in the sets earlier this year, but you can still turn the head around and have them breathe like this spectral ghost energy instead if you want to do that. I absolutely love the color choices here. This feels so different from a Ninjago villain. I don't think we have any others like this. It's amazing to get something that feels so fresh so many years into this theme. But now, overall, what are my thoughts on this set? Well, I mean, in case you can't tell, I really like this set. I'm happy it exists. Being completely honest, do you need this set? No, probably not, especially if you're getting the bigger sets this way, and if you're not a fan of the Elemental Power Mechs, it's an easy one to skip out on. But I think it's so good that sets like this exist. I want more small, cheap sets from Ninjago. I want more easy ways to get a good guy that's fighting a bad guy. So Arin being available for cheap is great, having a Spectral Dragonian for cheap is great, and the Elemental Power Mechs are just fun. I really want to see them continue this line even further. We still need Zane, Jay, Neo, Wildfire, and I guess Frack now too. And then we would have one for every single ninja. Imagine that, and if they could all like mix and match parts with each other, that would be so cool. So yeah, I'm really happy this exists. And it's a great set to just pick up if you're looking for a short, fun build one day. It's inexpensive, it's full of value, and it's a nice model too. Now, if you have the previous Elemental Power Mechs and you don't really like them, I don't think this set's going to change your mind. As I said earlier, this is probably not one of my favorites, honestly. It's probably number 4 on my list. But that's on a list of 5 sets that I really, really like. The Lloyd Mech's the only one where I feel like it has some major flaws, and even that set I quite like. The rest, though, including this one, are very, very good. So would I recommend this set? I mean, you don't need it per se, but if you get it, I think you'll like it. At the very least, I do. I love it. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this set in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to my channel if you're new. And let me know in the comments which Summer 2025 Ninjago set do you want to see an early review of next. But as for this video, I think that's about all I have to say, so thanks for watching everybody, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!